There's a recent high school graduate named Alex Chukwukelu who's the fastest high school hurdler ever. The records are going to show a 13.18 second in the 110 meter hurdles, but he's actually run a 12.98. How is this even possible? Well, I wanted to know, so I reached out to Alex so I can find out.
It's Chukwukelu to the finish, one more hurdle, and he grabbed the state title.
Chukwukelu, the U.S. #1 hurdler, gets a state title here, 13:42.
Alex, let's start off by learning your story. When did you start hurdling?
Well, so I started off in 7th grade. I didn't know hurdles at the time, but when the first meet came in the blocks, I was so nervous. I was looking at it, I was like, man, they're so tall. Ran over them and finished the race 2nd place. And I was like, wow, okay. I actually got a good feeling. When 300 hurdles came in, finished 1st. And I was like, okay, now I'm actually loving this event. And I started 8th grade, 1587 at district, getting 2nd place. But it's okay. 1587 in 8th grade, not even bad at all. That's actually better than average. When I got out of high school, that's when I started taking everything so seriously. Where I ran a 15:24 my freshman year at the first meet of the season.
So then COVID happened and it wiped out the rest of Alex's freshman season. Sophomore year with the distance learning and then just strangeness in the keeping the distance in the classroom didn't suit Alex very well, didn't have a great year academically, and was ineligible.
That are listening to this, they can look at it like if they've been ineligible before, it's not the end of the world. You still have 2 years left to make it up.
Although Alex didn't get to run his sophomore year in school, he did get to run that summer and actually did pretty well.
And then I ended the summer at AAU Junior Olympics with a 14.19. From 7th grade to freshman year, I didn't have no hurdle coach. I was actually looking up all the videos. I even know who you were, Coach, at the time, because I would even look at your videos.
So you heard it, everyone. The fastest high school hurdler ever watches my videos. So if you learn nothing else from this, remember that. Keep watching.
I was looking at everything, even the pro athletes and how they run on the hurdles, just looking at them, taking it in and putting it at practice by myself and helping my parents on the side, having to record everything so I could see what's the difference between what the pro looked like and how I looked like. Junior season came and I was like, man, this is the season where I need to focus on my game. I need to actually get on top. I went back to Nike Indoor Nationals in New York in Staten Island my junior year and ran at 8:05. Man, outdoor season was okay. My fastest, my PR was a 13.75. I had a big improvement, and that was my first 13. So I was like, man, not even a 13.9. It was a 13.7 off the dot. I still got 2nd place because I was in one of the best hurdle areas of high school. Like, we had the toughest region, UIL. And running that region, prelims, I ran a 13.84. You know, I was consistent. And then when it came to finals, I was in the blocks. I was scared because like I had a chance to go to state. When I went into the finals, man, I blew it because I saw everybody was way ahead of me. I was like, oh my gosh, let me go. I started rushing everything. I was so impatient. Ran a 14.19 the same time that I ran my sophomore year. Got me like 6th place.
So junior year, you didn't even go to state?
I didn't go to state.
Wow, that's crazy. That shows how fast Texas is in the hurdles.
I know. Yeah, I mean, junior year ended. Now it's up to senior year. It was my last year because the fact that I never gone to state, like I was like, man, I got to make a difference. Because freshman year, COVID hit. Sophomore year, ineligible. Junior year, didn't make it to state. Senior year is the last year I have to do anything. Like, it's literally the last year I have. Indoor season came, ran a PR in the U.S. #1 time on my first meet, a 780. I was so
That's great.
Oh my gosh, I was so, man, I just couldn't believe it, dude. I just got on the track. I just started, like, literally, and I just didn't know how to feel. Like, a 780, like, we just started the season. God said it was the right time. It was the right time. and I think that was a time where Kentucky like really, really, really wanted me. And, you know, and that was my dream school too. So I was like, oh my gosh, like, it's like, this is too much. This is too much.
Alex had a great indoor season and ended up running a U.S. best time of 7.71 seconds in the 60-meter hurdles.
Now it's a transition to outdoor season. I opened that season in the 110 hurdles with a 13.55. Yeah, 13.5. I think that put me U.S. number 4 going into Texas Relays. And I was like, Jesus, man, I was so ready to go. Here I am just executing like I should and just ran a time that I thought I wouldn't hit. So, but now Texas Relays came. I've never been to Texas Relays before. It's my first time. Got on the blocks, ready to go. Shot the gunshot, and I got a really good start. First hurdle, off the bat, real quick, and then finished the race with the 13.16, and that was my PR. I couldn't believe it, man. I was just so crazy. But like, no, on the board it said 13.13. I was like, Jesus, that's crazy fast. But like the announcer was like 13.16.
Wow, that's great.
You know, tomorrow came. You know, it was a good day. It was a great day. You know, I was still nervous as always because, you know, now this is the heat where it's going to get ruthless. You know, I got an amazing start. Now I'm not so behind everybody. Now I'm not actually with everybody. You know, got off the hurdle, second hurdle, third hurdle. I was already gradually getting up. Staying together for a long time. I kept my patience how it was in indoor season. Just stay patient between the hurdles and trust the process. It's going to come later. I started, I think around the 6th, 7th hurdle, I started moving up on him. And I started making a gap on him as well. Finished the race. Look back, 13.32. That was not only a U.S. or a Texas number 1 time, that is also a world number 1 time. I was screaming on the top of my lungs, man. I was so happy, excited. It was an overwhelming feeling. That district finals, that's the time where I ran the 12.98. I came in there so focused and all of that, was ready to whip everybody. I was like, literally, I didn't even want to look at them. Came in the race, finished. I mean, for some reason, the time didn't come on for a long time. It didn't just show up on the screen. And they showed me on Mile Split that it says 12.98. And I was like, man, I think I lost my voice that day. Am I literally the first high schooler to ever go to break 13? Am I literally the first? But as I walk into school tomorrow, coach was calling me to meet up with him in the locker room. I need to talk to you about something. And he was like, Alex, that 12.98 is not there anymore. I was like, what are you talking about? It's literally on Mile Split. You can't just go in the next day and take it off, you know, and replaced it with another time. And he's like, they did. And they replaced it with 13.39. I was like, are you serious? It didn't matter. Like I said before, that 13.1 and 12.9 is pretty similar speed. It's just more efficiency. And then coming up to region where like it was the toughest region of all time, having that flashback of how it was in junior year. I do not want to end like junior year. This is actually the chance to go to state. I do not want to mess it up. Probably stay focused in the box. Like I said, just stay patient. You do fine. Got a shot, and everybody else was in front of me, like how it was junior year. So I tried to stay composed. He was there with me throughout the 4th hurdle, and I started gaining up on him. And I started making a gap away from him and finished with a 13.22. On our way to state, I was telling my coach that I'm still nervous. I don't know why I'm still nervous because, you know, even though I ran at Texas Relays, I've been there at Mike and Myers. You know, I kind of got the experience. This is the meet where everybody actually starts speaking, breaking records, you know? So, I got to stay on my game here, you know? Like, I actually got to do good this meet. And my coach was telling me, looking at me, and was like, it's okay. Just take it one hurdle at a time. So when I got on the track, I said the Lord's Prayer, started taking deep breaths. Just let it fill me up with fresh air. and slow my heart rate down. Got on the blocks, worried about myself, and ready to run the race. When he said set, the gun shot, and ran my race. And actually, surprisingly, that was the best block start I ever had. I was actually the first one to the hurdle and held it and got a 13:42 into a -0.9 headwind.
Okay,
you know,
great.
I was so happy. I was like overly joyful. Like even ran out to my coach, gave him a big hug because we did it. We won state. Like it was the first time. Like it was my first time actually going to state, and we actually won it. And what's crazy is that whole season that I had, the whole season that I ever ran the 110 hurdle in the senior season, undefeated. You know, I haven't lost a race, and that's crazy. So like, that's a big improvement off of my junior, sophomore, and freshman year, because I knew this year was my year, and I knew I'm gonna make it right. As long as I trust God, everything will come out okay. You know, as long as I do my part, because you know we always ask God for everything, but we just don't do our part in that. So like, as long as we do our part, our end of the bargain, you know, it will all come together in what we want in life.
Wow, that was an amazing journey and story. Since then, Alex has also gone on to win the Great Southwest Track Meet and also the Nike Outdoor Nationals. But you don't come to my channel just to watch a good story. We want to know what Alex does to be so fast. Turns out he's meticulous about technique.
You want to be sprinting like this over the hurdles instead of like this over the hurdles, so that it won't mess up your hips. You know, with my hips, you want to keep it stable between the hurdles. So that's why I always do hurdle mobility, making sure my hips are stable. I always keep my hands on my hips or my arms up like this to make sure that my hips are staying the same way. They're facing this way. They're not like this. When you're in the blocks going into the first hurdle, foot or the leg that you land with in high school, they don't even know about this at all, because this is like a little bit, this is another secret thing. Just making sure that you cut your step, because I know a lot of people, like, this is the foot, like this is the ground, like a lot of people will just break like this, and it takes a lot of time tick 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 to leave off of it, while I'm over here just cutting off ball of my foot and just turning off of it and then going on to the next one. You know, they need to learn that motion right here. It took me a while to learn this, because I didn't even move on to the second hurdle until I can get this cut step down immediately.
Really?
Because it is very important to get this down. And what comes with cut step is having parallel legs, because I know people wanted to break. They also break like this. And then toe off. But you want to break exactly like this, exactly with your leg, making sure they're knee to knee as well with your lead leg and your cut step, to making sure that you can bring your knee up bent past your center mass over the hurdle, and then you can start getting your legs straight, so that you can have your touchdown on the ball of your feet instead of your foot to hit like this and then come off. You want your foot just to come out like this and come off, you know. And in between the hurdles, you want to stay as tall as possible. I mean, like staying on the tippiest of your toes, staying above the water line and trying to breathe. Like you want to stay that tall in between the hurdles so that you can maintain that speed instead of just breaking and trying to make it up for the next one and sinking your hips again and trying to make it up to the next one, because you're already losing. That's what I'm saying about track. It takes a while. It takes time, you know, because you need to work on every single little detail to make it into a nice, clean race, you know.
Well, I hope you were inspired and learned a lot from Alex. I learned some things, and I think he's a terrific young man, and his potential future at the University of Kentucky and beyond is limitless. I'm very excited to see it. As usual, if you want to learn more about hurdling or how I can help you, check out more of my videos on YouTube, and you can go to my website at acemethodcoaching.com.